What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. And today we got the game recap between the Chicago Bears and the San Francisco 49ers.
So third down and long, a twist up front, able to collapse the pocket. Fields keeps it alive. There's a wide open Pettis. And now Pettis down the sideline and in. Improvisation and a touchdown from 51.
The Bears actually did it, guys. The Bears beat the 49ers in a huge upset, 19-10 in a very heavy rained weather, and the Bears are now officially 1-0. What an incredible game by the Bears, bouncing back after that horrendous first half, especially by the offense. I mean, the defense did a great job, but offensively, no points scored in the first two quarters, absolutely terrible, but they bounced back, scored 3 touchdowns in the second half, and made it a 19-10 game to take that victory, sliding on the ground in Soldier Field with that very heavy rain. But man, was it beautiful against the 49ers, a very good opponent. Obviously, they were not fully loaded, but so were the Bears. And overall, I'm just so excited about this win, guys. I think you guys out there as well. And with today's recap, I just quickly want to go over the offensive performance, defensive performance, pretty much special teams in a quick order as well. And then lastly, some key moments and my MVPs for the game. And we want to talk about the game more in depth later next week with just the film room episode on it. I want to talk about the offense, a few drives, defense, just get into what went right, what went wrong, and what we can do to improve that. So definitely stay tuned for that. As with that being said, let's get right into it and start off with the game recap. And starting off with the game recap, I want to first of all start off talking about the offense. And first of all, the biggest thing for me was just facing the adversity and just reacting to it by Luke Getsy, the offensive play caller. First half was really bad in my opinion. Not a lot of great play calls in there. Lots of running, which was expected due to the heavy rain, but at the same time, I just would have wished him to be more aggressive, and especially after Justin's first interception, which was not great by him by any means. I feel like he really went passive mode and just wanted to limit his mistakes because I don't know what the problem was, but I don't agree with that. Like, let him throw the ball more, get him more comfortable in the offense just with some quick little dump offs. That didn't seem to work. Like, it was a really tough situation for the Bears in the beginning. And then in the second half, Luke Getsy did what Matt Nagy never could do, which is actually adjust to the situation, adjust to the opposing defense, and actually get the offense rolling in the second half. And this is probably the biggest development we have with our coaching staff. This is why I'm always preaching coaching is so important. And this is why this coaching staff is so important for the Chicago Bears, because they really implement that trust into our players. They really make them believe they can overturn that. And also in the second half, like I said, Getsy with way better play calling to also help Justin Fields and the offense. First half, way too conservative, especially on third downs, like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12. He just decided to run it. Totally don't understand that. Also, the offensive line got blown up by that 49ers defense, especially that defensive line got so much pressure on Fields. Every single time he dropped back, he was pressured. Also, Fields struggled as well with that bad looking interception, and then also the wide receivers just weren't helping at all, not getting open and just totally not a part of the game at all. I think in the first half he had 3 completions to 2 running backs. Montgomery got 2 and Herbert got 1. I think I recall that correctly. But when we look at the second half, it became way better. Fields was way more decisive, not perfect, like he had almost another interception to, I think, to Sean Gibson, but better decisions, quicker decisions, just getting the ball out fast against that defensive line. Also, the offensive line in general became better pass protection, and also in the run game, they helped Khalil Herbert tremendously against that great defensive line of the 49ers on that touchdown run or the entire drive. They got several good pushes and created some good lanes right there, so offensive line became better. Also, Khalil Herbert did great on that touchdown drive that he had. And also, like I said, Luke Getsy, way more creative, getting Justin Fields out of the pocket. I love that. And that's where Justin Fields is just most comfortable in. I mean, that's obvious. You see that in his eyes. He can read the field. He can decide if he wants to run, if he wants to pass it. And also the cornerbacks or defensive backs have to cover longer. So the opportunities for having a open guy with bad skill position players at least gets a bit better with that as well. So love the play calling decisions by him right there. And also in the second half, 2 play action touchdowns. After heavily involving the run, you get these linebackers to suck up, and then just finally got them with 2 deeper touchdowns to Equanimous St. Brown and first to Dante Pettis as well. So great play calling, I think, by Luke Getsy in the second half. Also, wide receivers did a better job at getting open. I can also recall Byron Pringle with a great catch on the sideline and just spreading the ball by Fields as well. Not a lot of receptions by players. I mean, it was only 8 completions by Fields for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. But, I mean, he still spread it around. Dante Pettis got a catch. David Montgomery got 3 catches. Byron Pringle got a catch. Equanimous St. Brown, Darnell Mooney, Khalil Herbert. Like, it was still throwing it to multiple guys. That's what we want to see, and he also did that greatly as well today. So love the performance by Justin Fields. Love the bounce back. We will look into his performance way deeper in the film room episode as well. But I think overall, I'm happy with the offense. It was better than expected, especially in the second half. First half, it was just usual Bear stuff, just getting embarrassed out there, and you think you don't want to watch this team. Within the first 5 seconds, you just started watching the game. But then second half, they adjusted, made a way better job, got the points on the board. The defense held up quite nicely. I mean, only 10 points allowed is pretty sick. And then you can win a football game. And that was enough today from the offense. Obviously, next time we want to see them just compete for 4 quarters, not just 2 quarters, but that's up for next week. But for the first week, I'm totally happy with the Bears' offensive performance. Like I said, especially in the second half, I think Justin Fields showed lots of promising things as for the rest of the offense as well. And with that being said, that already wraps up the offense, and we want to move on to the defensive performance. And I mean, what can I say? The defense only allowed 10 points against this pretty stacked offense of the 49ers. Great performances all over the place. Roquan Smith, Dominique Robinson, Kyler Gordon, Nicholas Morrow, Jaquan Brisker, Jalen Johnson, Eddie Jackson. I mean, every single player on this defense today hustled. And what does this have to do with Matt Eberflus? Obviously, the hits principle, and I think it was the big key to this game, and they definitely delivered today. Got 2 turnovers today, 1 forced fumble by Jalen Johnson, which was recovered by Jaquan Brisker, the rookie, and then later a beautiful interception by Eddie Jackson. Eddie is finally back making plays for the Bears. Beautiful read by him, just cutting that or undercutting that route by the receiver and getting a huge return as well in there to help the Bears get that score, I think, with Khalil Herbert as well. So big plays from Eddie Jackson. That's what we want to see out of him, and he finally did it again. And I mean, the defense just overall flat out not dominated. Like, they got pushed back a couple of times, but it was that bend but no break mentality, that hits principle mentality, just standing up for each other, hustling on every play, and just doing the best they can do out there, and forcing turnovers. And I mean, already having 2 turnovers on the stat sheet looks absolutely beautiful. I'm so impressed with the defense overall. Pass rush wise, it could have been a bit better, but I mean, I was not expecting Robert Quinn to have a big game against Trent Williams, the best offensive lineman probably in the NFL at the moment. But Dominique Robinson, and I mean, I have to take a second to talk about him. 1.5 sacks, 7 total tackles. The rookie absolutely balled out today. He put up the most pressures, in my opinion. Really great performance overall. Roquan Smith, 9 total tackles, half a sack, and also a pass deflection in there. Almost intercepted that ball as well. So great performance by now the weak side linebacker, the will on this team. And I mean, I'm just impressed by Roquan Smith. Started where he left off, just with absolute dominance on the field. Also loved what I saw out of rookie Kyler Gordon. Had some nice tackles in there today. Yes, he allowed some yards, but I mean, he's a rookie, give him a break. There will be some mistakes made, especially at the cornerback position, which is super tough to play. Brisker, rookie safety dominated today, had a TFL and 4 tackles. Very secure tackler out there. That's what we need from him. Looked really good. And then also for the rest of the guys, just great performance by the defense overall. Love that the hits principle was actually coming through in the first game. That was my key to victory on defense in the game preview, and they absolutely fulfilled that. So just happy how the defense played. And I mean, I was expecting that because we have good players on defense and a great defensive coaching staff as well. But I mean, they definitely exceeded my expectations. And I mean, I'm just happy how they performed. As for the last phase, the special teams, I mean, what can I say? It was a tough weather to play in, and I don't know how much it affected kicker Cairo Santos, but he had 2 missed extra points in there today. Don't love to see it. I mean, it could have been crucial for the game, but luckily it did not take a huge role in it. But I mean, let's just see how he does next week and don't talk about it too much. I think maybe it was weather related, maybe not, but hopefully next week he's back to his old self. As for Trenton Gill, pretty good game overall, 46.2 yards average. And for the kick returner was Tristan Ebner with Velus Jones Jr. Obviously a huge return specialist was missing. He had 2 returns for 48 yards, 24-yard average, pretty good, looked okay. And Dante Pettis caught 1 return, but I think he did not return it. And I mean, that's already it for special teams. Nothing too incredible about it. I think overall a good performance by them. So with that being said, I want to move on to my last segment of today's video, which is the key moment and the MVPs. And the key moment for me definitely was today, the touchdown to Dante Pettis. The offense looked like they were about to stall once again, but Justin Fields gets his Houdini skills out, makes something happen, escapes the pocket, gets out of it, and then finds Dante Pettis late across the field for a huge 50-yard touchdown. And I think that really sparked something within the entire Bears team. Offense after that was just way better, just rolling and with more confidence, as the defense was also playing on a higher level at that point too. So I think that was really the key moment that turned it around for the Bears and gave them the momentum to win that game. So that was a pretty huge moment. As for my MVPs on offense, I think it's pretty simple for me. It has to go to Justin Fields. The second-year quarterback went through a lot of adversity in this game. He has faced a lot of pressure. He did not have a lot of help by his wide receivers, but he made the best out of it. 8 for 17, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, got sacked 2 times. But overall, I'm happy with Justin's development in this game. Bounced back after having some bad plays. Always stayed in the game mentally and physically, and then just made some clutch throws to close out the game and get that win. So great performance by our captain, the quarterback one for the Chicago Bears. I really like what I saw out of him today. Also had 11 carries for 28 yards, some clutch runs in there, also some that led to penalties, which were pretty big for the Bears in the long run as well. So he is definitely my offensive MVP. As for the defense, it's kind of tough to say because I would love to give it to the entire defense, but overall I think I have to give it to rookie Dominique Robinson. 7 total tackles as a edge rusher is pretty impressive. 1.5 sacks, pretty incredible as well. 2 quarterback hits obviously, but I mean, Dominique Robinson absolutely dominated the edges today. Had the 1 sack, not the shared sack with Roquan Smith, the 1 sack that he had against Mike McGlinchey, one of the better right tackles in the league. Very solid player, and we're talking about a 5th round rookie that played wide receiver just a couple of years ago and then changed to defensive end. A very raw player that just absolutely destroyed him with a beautiful swipe move with the hands, just swiped them away very easily, beat him with speed, and then got the sack. I mean, Dominique Robinson dominated today. Love seeing that from our young rookie, and just a great performance overall. I think he definitely deserves to be the defensive MVP. As for the special teams MVP, I think there's only one guy it can go to. Obviously, Cairo Santos had not a great game today. Return-wise, nothing too much happened, so it has to go to Trenton Gill. 6 punts for 277 yards, 46.2 yards average, 1 touchback, 1 inside the 20, 58 yards was his longest punt. Great performance overall. I thought made the best out of the situation and just gave the Bears a good field position to defend the 49ers most of the time. So good job by the rookie, but nothing more to say about that. So, Overall, the Bears win against the 49ers 19-10 one more time. Absolutely happy about that win. The Bears are 1-0. Great start to the season. I mean, obviously lots to get better at, but we beat the 49ers and still haven't unlocked our full potential. That's true. Obviously, 49ers were in their own ways a lot as well. I mean, they made it hard on themselves with all these penalties. But next game, I just want to see the Bears complete 4 quarters on offense as well as on defense, not only 2 by the offense. That should definitely get better. And with that being said, that's already the end of the video, guys. Definitely stay tuned for the upcoming Film Room episode. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. Check out Instagram and Twitter if you want to as well. And as always, guys, bear down.